Okay, it's day 87. We're pretty high up on those pinky keys of the piano. We'll see if we get here beyond 88. But anyway, I'm going to use the hand here again for the 5 stands. Remember the 5 stands where all of our uranium's coming from. Our Uzbeki truck drivers are coming from that middle finger, and then the stands. 80% of the world's uranium coming from Kazakhstan. That's why all the deals are happening around Kazakhstan. So I'm going to say, do the 5 levels of uranium. The thumb here is a highly enriched uranium. That's the Bob Mueller, $250,000 a quarter pounder, $8 million a quarter pounder stuff. That's on the black market. It's worth a lot more than that if you're buying it officially, right? The second level is 20% uranium, which is called enriched uranium, and that's if you have a light water reactor. A light water reactor can only use enriched uranium. So just remember that when you hear heavy water, light water. The advantage of a heavy water reactor is that it only needs 3.5% uranium. Okay, so just think of that 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, if you were smart in Congress, you'd have an agreement 1, 2, 3 with a shared Dropbox going to sending terabytes to Pakistan and Iran and who all other your nuclear partners were, like the UAE. But just that's an easy thing to remember. The thumb really sticks out, right? Thumbs stick out because that's highly enriched. That's really valuable. That's where you hold the quarter pounder on the other side, that $8 million quarter pounder. Then it drops down. The value drops tremendously. Now, in this agreement between Russia and the United States, megatons, weapons, to megawatts, which is fuel for reactors, that was the program. That's sending that stuff a long, long way, a tremendous distance, and then also a tremendous expense in down blending to go from that highly enriched uranium to the enriched uranium. That costs money. Now, there's 2 other pieces to the uranium puzzle, but I'll just say that in any kind of long rat line like that, there are people who will intercept the truck and go, wait a minute, hold it. You've got $8 million quarter pounders on that truck? Let's sell some of the quarter pounders off before the truck gets there, okay? So, maybe 1998 here, the FBI gets control of the double NSA, the Nuclear National Security Agency. They're controlling this now. Let's sell some of this stuff to maybe Pakistan, who's got a developing nuclear program, maybe some to India that's got a nuclear program, maybe some to UAE, maybe some to Qatar, maybe some to Iran. Okay, so we'll lighten the load. We'll help it out. Do you think Hillary Clinton might have engaged in that sort of thing? In order to run that rat line, do you think you could use a Nellie Orr type of person who could speak Russian to these Uzbeki truckers that were trucking all this stuff from Kazakhstan through Pakistan, who we know were under the direction of Pakistani ISI officers? May be helpful. So this kind of reminds me of Miami Business School and the transportation problem. You say, hey, wait a minute, hold it. We want to send as few ships as possible. Take your goods to the closest customers who are willing to pay the most amount of money. We'll only send what we have to over the ocean, right? And we call that optimization. We used to call that optimization. Why wouldn't they do that here? Why wouldn't you do that here? And when you end up with the low enriched stuff, okay, you would then have depleted uranium, which is 4, this ring finger, and then finally you have waste, which you have to store somewhere. Again, you get paid all along the way for storing nuclear waste, the pinky, and for the ring finger, the LEU, that's what you can sell to the local power plants. So if I had the highly enriched uranium, I could just use it in all these other countries, take the output product, which is the depleted uranium, or the low enriched uranium, whatever product's left, and then just ship that. So I'll just borrow it. It'll just slow down for a couple of years as I use it in Iran or use it in whatever other countries. Okay? And then the waste product that we'll own in the waste management for the different companies we own in the United States, we'll just dump that as we're going back and forth from the bilge tanks. We're going to make money at every point along the way. We're going to make money not storing the waste like we should. We're going to dump it in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to only ship what we need to, which is the low enriched uranium, the ring finger stuff. We can put that into the Savannah River site, which is a heavy water reactor, which we can use that low enriched uranium. And then we'll save the good stuff for our best customers who are willing to pay us the most amount of money. Now, again, if you're with an alphabet company or with Hillary Clinton, that's how you think. You don't think about what's best for the people of the United States of America. And then when you get in control of the rat lines as a Secretary of State, you say, wait a minute. We have all these people that Nellie Orr has been talking with, and we've developed all these truckers. Let's bring them to the United States and do the opposite. Let's take all the uranium ore out of the United States, turn it into yellow cake. We can ship that to China, and China can ship that to different enrichment sites in Iran. Or we can make it low-enriched uranium, or we can sell it to whoever we want, whatever nuclear programs we want to develop around the world, like the UAE. That's what I think the 1, 2, 3 shared Dropbox was from the very beginning. And it makes the most amount of sense because you have the FBI in Tennessee, in West Virginia, in these locations. P9 is the key location in West Virginia from Morgantown. I visited there. Y12, the key location in Oak Ridge. And again, I don't know how all the pieces move between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the stages, but I'm just saying, you put a Miami business major in there, or you could put a guy like Mark Lambert, a Cincinnati major, not quite as good as the University of Cincinnati on those logistics, and he would make an efficient network out of it. He would optimize the network. Was that done here? There's plenty of money to be made. You can triple, sometimes increase the optimization of a network by a factor of 100, depending on how many layers you've got in the system.